everyone, welcome back to another video. And can you believe it's already almost March? Because I'm struggling to come to terms with that. It feels like it was just New Year's yesterday. But yeah, here we are. And for my bullet journal for March, I really wanted to inject a lot of color and some cute pastels just to really get me into that spring mood, because I feel like I've been on a spring mood since October, but it's been taking a while for it to get here. So I'm gonna say if I can bring a little bit of spring into my life via my bullet journal. And I recently got this set of pastel colored zig clean dot markers, and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to put them to use. So I'm using a combination of those markers as well as some colorful pencils and also my more pastel colors from my zebra click art pens to complete all of these spreads that you'll see. And of course, what's more spring-like than flowers? And I've been recently on a bit of a tulip obsession. I don't know why, but I've been really enjoying drawing tulips, and yeah, so I thought, why not bring that into my bullet journal as well? Here, as you can see, I'm just using a lot of very soft colors, a lot of squiggly lines, and just a lot of curvy shapes for everything that I'm doing, because I really want the spreads to come off very Sanrio, very Animal Crossing. That's the exact vibe that I'm going for my spreads. So as you can see here, I used some darker colored pencils to kind of go over some of the drawings of my tulips, just to outline those petals and things like that. And then I'm just adding a bunch of cute little shapes around my title and just making it look adorable. And now for my monthly spread here, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm making this wiggly border with my dot markers and then going in to draw my calendar for this month using my click art pen, and just keeping the color palette mostly within the baby pink and green so that they match the tulips, but I'm also obviously using a lot of colors everywhere else for the titles. So it's just a very big burst of color, much like spring is, and that's exactly what I wanted to give myself this month in my bullet journal, because I look at it every single day and it is pretty much my lifeline at this point. I don't know what I would do without my bullet journal, so try to really match my energy to my bullet journal, or create the energy that I want, essentially, because it works, honestly. As you can see, I'm just using a yellow pencil just to add some cute sparkles everywhere. And then I'm using the fine nib of my Tombow Dual brush pen to write out the days of the week on top of my calendar here. And now I'm just using an assortment of different colored pencils to write out my titles over there on the right hand side. So I've got a column that has my this month task list, my YouTube and my Patreon checklist, so everything is sort of in the same place. And then just using some colors to underline the titles, and of course drawing out all my tulips. As you saw as well, I used my light pink clean dot marker to do a little accent dot on every day of the month in the calendar, because then I'm going to write out the days of the month inside those little circles. And it was just a really easy way to draw out these circles. I just kind of pressed the marker on the paper and it was a perfect circle. So I'm really enjoying these markers. They're so satisfying to use. They're just so different to using any other type of, fine tipped marker or a brush pen. They're just completely round and they're so satisfying because of how cushiony they are. Yeah, I just went in and colored in all these tulips around my page, just sort of like they're floating in the wind, and they look adorable, using my red color pencil from Arteza to just kind of add in some details to distinguish the petals, and as well using a dark blue pencil to add a little pop of color to the line art on the stems and the leaves. and also to add some little accent doodles here and there in areas where I thought there was a bit too much empty space. And then I took a fine liner and added in all the days of the month onto my calendar. And that was it for my monthly spread. I'm so happy with how it came out, and now let's do the next one. So my next double spread is usually my trackers. So I've got my mood tracker, my expenses, and my business expenses. And I don't include my habits trackers in these spreads anymore, because if you saw my 2024 bullet journal setup video at the end of last year, you'll see that I actually added a whole triple spread of habits trackers in my yearly spreads. So right at the beginning of my bullet journal, and it looks really cute. And I'm really enjoying it actually. It's been really fun to just have all of my trackers in one place for the whole year. So yeah, now it gives me more room to have my mood tracker in with my personal and business expenses. So again, using this sort of wiggly line border, I drew out a really long rectangle for my mood tracker. And I'm actually using a key using a tulip that is kind of like blossoming out into a really beautiful open tulip as my key for like my mood. So obviously the little tiny baby tulip is not feeling too great, and the really open tulip is me feeling really good. And then I just added all the days of the month down there on the left-hand side of my tracker, and then used my click art pens to draw out all of these tables, these very boring tables on my business expenses spread, just like I did over there on my personal expenses. I also did them in 2 different colors in like this sort of checkerboard style, just to make it even more interesting. And then I just went in with my dot pens to add a little highlight color to the top and bottom of every table, just to separate the colors a little bit. And the pastel color really looks really good with the darker colors of the click art pens. The colors thankfully just went really well together, so that really worked out for me. And then using my colored pencils, I just wrote out my title up there as well, and it looks so cute. It looks very, like childlike and just really carefree and colorful. So I'm just really enjoying this sort of multicolored title using colored pencils. And then of course, I'm just adding the 2 tulips that I could fit on this double spread. So I've just added one on each side here of this title here, and they look so cute, mirrored like this. And of course, added the details with the colored pencils. And finally, I went in with my grey Tumble Dual brush pen and just added a stripe of grey onto every other row on all of my tables here. And I've been doing this for a while now, and it's just really helpful when I am writing down or tracking my expenses. And it's just easier to track the rows this way and makes things a little bit more distinguishable. So I wrote in all the titles for all my tables, and that was it for my mood and expenses trackers. Super cute, made a very boring spread very enjoyable to look at. So my next double spread is usually my brain dump, and it's just usually a very open, empty double spread where I have plenty of room to write my lists and plan anything work related. So I just did my cute little wiggly border and then used my colored pencils to write out my title at the top and add some really cute tulips and some little doodles around the title just to make it look really cute. But other than that, I just left the rest of the page relatively empty, because then I know that I have plenty of room to plan things out. I did a little squiggly underline underneath the title as well, just to match the border, and then tried to add as many little cute colorful doodles with sparkles and leaf-like doodles and things like that. And that was it for my brain dump double spread. Next up, we have the last spread of this video, and it is my first weekly spread of the month. And I just could not resist making all of my little daily boxes in this wiggly outline. Like, how could I not, you know? It really reminds me of those phone cases that are really popular at the moment, that are really bulky and huge, but they have this really cute wiggly outline and they make your phone look really swirly. So I did this shape for all of the boxes on my weekly spread, and they look so adorable. I want to eat them, you know? They just look so cute, and they are definitely giving me Sanrio vibes, which is all I wanted from this spread. And then I also used my dot markers to add the little accent circle on each day of the week, which is where I'm going to write my days of the month. And then I just wrote out my titles with my color pencils. So in that top left quadrant, I'm gonna have like a little mini calendar of the month with the title March. And then the bottom right quadrant, I have my weekly task area. So I usually just write like my to-do list or this week and just keep that empty. Before anything else, I went in and added all of my cute little tulip designs just to get those out of the way, and also added some little leaves here and there just to draw in some of the emptier spots on the page. And of course, going in with my pencils afterwards to add those details. I know that it might seem really laborious to be doing all these steps, but it honestly is really therapeutic to me to do these kinds of things, and it makes me feel really happy to look at. So then, using my click art green pencil, I went and added all the days of the week into my little squares and used this really cutesy font to match the rest of the aesthetic. And then went in with my red color pencil to add in the days of the month onto each square as well. And then while I was with my pencils, I went in and added all the cute little yellow sparkles around the spread to further fill out any empty spots and to just, again, fill the page up with doodles as much as possible. Finally, all I had left to do was complete that little mini calendar in the top left corner of my double spread. So I went in with my Tombow dual brush pen to add a little accent color, and then used my click art pen to add in the days of the week, and then just used a fine liner to add in my mini calendar. And I also went in with a Tombow dual brush pen to just highlight the week that we were on. And that was pretty much it for my bullet journal setup for this month. And then at the end there, just before I finished, I added a little line into every square of every day of the week just to separate my events from my tasks. But yeah, now that was pretty much it for my March setup. Here is all of the spreads that I did today. I am so happy with how it came out. Like, this is exactly the vision that I had for my spreads this month, and I managed to make it come to life. So I'm super happy with it. It's giving Animal Crossing, it's giving Sanrio, and it's giving spring, which is what I wanted. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video of me setting up my spreads, and I hope that you have a lovely month ahead of you in March, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!